Hey, Tracy Lewis from Stuff and Things. I didn't get a chance to drive my paper pumpkin back because I was driving and it's only like a minute to get there and back. So here is the unboxing of the 6 years of paper pumpkin. I know that we get a free stamp set. At first I was under the impression it was going to be a second of the same, but it actually is a set of very large numbers, and I have not replaced any of my large letters or numbers yet. A year after losing everything, actually a year and 3 months now, so this is a very welcome bonus. And the font actually is a good birthday font with nice big bold lettering, some confetti, and a hat. Oh, and a candle. Today's color, or this month's color, is Poppy Parade. And let's go through the materials. I am always short birthday cards, so it'll be nice to get some extras. That's what my focus will be for this particular kit. We are still in Sierra Vista, Arizona, and today it was 83. It's right now 79. It's overcast, and it is lovely. We actually have our air conditioning on, which is the first time in a long time we've had to turn it on. I see mini dimensionals, double-sided dots, and tear and tape, looks like. We have all sorts of, we've got banners, labels, the envelopes. Not sure if they're all the same. Nope, we've got different styles of envelopes on the insides. Lots of candles. They already have tape on them, double-sided tape. Die cuts, 2 sets, so that's a total of, we got short ones and long ones, 8 long ones and 6 shorts. Oh, and then we're going to make, this is a card base, and evidently the inside of the card is a cake. I think we're going to make 3 cards. So for the create, I will make 1. So 4 pinks, 4 yellows. Oh, we got more die cuts, bows, and hats. These must be a 3rd design. There's 4 of them. Labels. Oh, and die cut numbers that kind of coordinate with the numbers that you can stamp. We have 4 more must-be card bases, a different style of numbers, and 6 large striped, looks like just a layer. So I will go away now, and I will figure out which one I want to create, and then of course I will do that quickly and get right into thinking through alternatives. Alright, I am back. I have prepared a card. It's going to be for my niece who turns 16 in April. So I went ahead and applied all of the adhesives. I did the stamping. And now I'm on Step 3, pop, bend, and fold each tier to create the 3D effect. So, all right. Before I adhere this to the base, I have these candles that need to be put on. I pre-bent them to hopefully make it easier. There's that row. This one's a little crooked, so I'm going to see if I can get it apart. All right, so there's the candles. They both fold. All right. Grabbing a base. It advises to do 1/2 at a time, and I see the logic of that. So I'm going to do the right half first. I see that my candle you can see that my candles are a little bit high. So before I put that down, I might fuss with removing them one more time, which is still hard to manage. So if you haven't done your kit yet, I know I'm a little late every month because this has to make 2 hops to get to me. Make sure your top candles are set low enough so that they don't go past the top of the outside base. So I've undone my candle, and I'm going to reposition it lower. Like so. And it's already folded, so there. Now I can close the left side, and then we can work on the front. So this is actually, as far as kits go, a little more complicated, in a fun way, than your average kit. So I'm going to close this, and from left to right, I'm just going to run my hand along the glue part. There. See how that worked out. Perfect. On the outside, for this style, you have the red banner. that goes all the way across. And it does not have adhesive, so I'll add adhesive to it. And then I'm kind of mixing the materials. This vertical happy birthday and the red banners are supposed to go on a gray card, but my husband's family likes color and I don't want to use gray. I will not hear the end of it if I use gray. So let's see, what material am I supposed to adhere this with? The red diagonal stripe using adhesive dots. See, so it does pay to read. And these adhesive dots, by the way, are smaller than normal. And they actually are much easier to take off this way. I hope that this is maybe a test of maybe doing the circle dots a little differently. I would appreciate it. I have really bad hands. So anything to make life easier on my hands, I am all for. Okay. Okay, so that's that. I have this is going to be kind of a fat card, I can feel it. Now I already did dimensionals on the numbers because it said to. I am going to position them. I actually have the Make a Difference stamp set that has the various 16th. It has the TH, and so I will probably add that to this card because it just seems to me that it is needed. It reads funny just saying 16, happy 16th birthday. No, it needs to be 16th birthday. I would say you could go ahead and use a marker if you are like me and you want the year. Just write it on. Okay. So this adhesive came off, the foam, which I had read about. And not all of them are doing it. That is interesting. So I'm going to go get my dimensionals, which are right behind me. And customer support is really supportive, so I will be calling them to let them know that this happened. But I don't want to slow down progress. So let's have a stash of these, and they're already cut in pieces. So this one will work. I'm trying to leave room right here for the TH. And since I'm going to send this through the mail, I'm going to not pop up this label. But if I were to be giving this out, I would add dimensionals and have 2 layers tall. But I have learned that the USPS mail system is picky. All right. That is the create, and now I'm going to go away and contemplate what can I do with these for alternatives. There's a lot of die cuts and a variety of things that we can do. I can already tell you that these will be cut in half at least and will be put on a Whisper White thick base. So I will do that to extend those parts out for sure. I haven't really thought too far as adding any die cuts, card stocks. I will have to go away and evaluate what kinds of bits and pieces I would like to add, and then I'll be back. Hey, I'm back just to give you guys a quick tip. I'm working on alternatives, and I wanted to talk about getting a good ink coverage. If you have a Stamparatus, that's great. You can repeat stamp as many times as you need to get it just perfect. But if you just have your spots that you get, and you have these photopolymer stamps that you get every month, these are linen. So what I do is I rotate as I ink up, and I'm gonna show you. So this is all inked. It's solid from my perspective, and I'm gonna ink just the top with one pat of the spot, and you can see the difference. Make sure that you rotate and you keep stamping the ink onto the stamp until it is a solid color. So that is my tip. I usually make these cards not using the Stamparatus. Sometimes I do if it's really important, but in this case I want to add some peripheral colors, and I will say that so far I like. Hey, I'm back, and my camera ran out of space, so I just wanted to finish up my thought. It stopped me mid-sentence. But typically I like to do my stamping for the paper pumpkin more natural, like a beginner would, not necessarily having the fun extra tools like the Stamparatus. And so here's some confetti. I won't reveal the whole thing, but this is my rough draft, and I'm gonna now add more confetti along the bottom. So that was it for my quick tip, and I'll be back. Alright, I am back, and I have come up with 5 or so alternatives with some extras that I just made pieces of to talk about. And first I want to go through the materials, the extra added materials that I used. I did use the corner rounder punch. I used the scalloped lines embossing folder, layering squares, Stampin' Right markers. These are for the candle flames, as well as white and black markers. For inks, I used these extra colors. I did have out the Daffodil Delight, but of course I ended up using the markers instead. And cardstock, I used Puppy Parade, Basic Gray, Basic Black, and Bermuda Bay. So we get 8 inserts, and I just wanted to show that I will probably be making some darker colored card bases with the layers, and this is what it will look like. I haven't decorated that one at all. I tried to do some fun stuff with the numbers because I haven't had numbers in a very long time, over a year, and so I thought it would be fun to show you guys some different ideas of the things you can do with numbers to dress them up. My first design uses the polka dot background with the scalloped embossing folder, and then I made a layer most of my work is done as layers so that I can move it around. In fact, I haven't attached any of the layers so I can show you how easy it is to mix and match. These numbers are just set off at an angle with a hat on top. And then I did, on this particular one, the red, so I have two Poppy Parades. The one that came with the kit, and then I pulled out my Poppy Parade because I wanted the sponge to do sponging like I did on the birthday. Then I accidentally used this Poppy Parade, which is very faded, and I had to fix it. So how I fixed it was making it a shadowed red effect with black ink, the tuxedo black. So that's what this one looks like. I did also have these out, and I haven't done any embellishments, so these are just the metallic, iridescent metallics. And there's also the regular metallics that include black, silver, copper, and white. So I might end up, before I do my final reveal, I might dress them up with some sequins. I wanted to do mostly neutral cards that could work for masculine and feminine. So that's, you'll find that none of these use, one of the colors of the polka dots is Flirty Flamingo. I've been doing a lot of Flirty Flamingo and Petal Pink lately, so these are all masculine capable cards. So this is another piece. I rounded the corners on a piece of scrap black and then made rounded corners on the striped gray. This is full size, so it doesn't have a thin line of the base. This is the full 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I then got into, because of this one where I stamped the confetti, I made some backgrounds. Let's look at my backgrounds that I made. This is one. And then I made this one to show you how universal. Now this is interesting because this is Whisper White, and that's the white that comes with the kit. So we always have to deal with our whites. And so this one is adhered already. So I did these two, and that's where I used the two markers, was to color the flames, Pumpkin Pie and Daffodil Delight. So then I made the layers to go on top. Granted, this doesn't go the best, and notice the color difference in the white. So I would never use this one on the Whisper White, but it goes beautifully over here. And then again, working on masculine or neutral cards that can be used in either case. This is where I used the scalloped squares to go with the scalloping that comes with the fishtail banner and the white. So that's those two. And this is using a black marker to make the balloon string. Then I did a solid, because I had done a lot of patterns, so I did one without any patterns. And this is just to show you with whatever color of base you would want it on. I have trimmed it down, and this is the scalloped stripes. So the various things I did with the numbers, if I bring the numbers back, I overlapped them straight up and down. I sponged them. I overlapped them at a jaunty angle, and the numbers, I didn't do any of the numbers inked up, but you could replicate the same thing with the numbers inked up. Or you could even, if you're really brave, do a layer of the solid numbers in black or gray and then do them as a shadow underneath. And then my third and fourth examples of numbers are taking the numbers. I sponged these light numbers I sponged for everything because I think they're way too light. And in this one I used black marker to doodle on them. And then I took one of the Bermuda Bay numbers. Let's move these off. Turn it over. And I did white and black. So you can do all sorts of fun things with the numbers. Now I'm going to tell you, if you stamp them and you try to ink the white on stamped, if it's the dye ink, which would be like any of these are all dyes, you're not going to get white. It's going to, and in fact I did one for you to see. I didn't do numbers, but I did the happy birthday for my niece, and I added, so it comes out pink. Some of the color of the dye will come through on the white, and I did it on the inside too. So just be aware that you can either experiment on the side with your white gel pen to see what the behavior is on your ink before you actually make your final product. And then I didn't finish it, but I have made one more background that I'm going to do something with. I just figured I could keep going with this kit forever. There's like tons of materials left, and I have like 6 cards, I think, to put together. I think 5 cards to put together, and then this extra partial card, and I didn't realize that I was already on my 6th card. So you could do a background, you could use any embossing folder you wanted that you liked with after you stamp your background. I'm even thinking that you could take and pre-make your birthdays if for the people that you know what age they are, and you could pre-make your bits and pieces to add to a card later. And that is pretty much what I've got, and I'm going to go away now to final assemble everything and then do a final reveal. I have to even decide for sure which ones of these are going to go on which of the backgrounds I created. So stay tuned. Alright, I'm back. Here they all are. I ended up finishing this 6th one because I had a vision of what it could be, and it wasn't going to take that long. I added sequins to a couple of them just so you can see what they look like dressed up a little bit with embellishments. And I actually am looking at these. I think these 2 are my favorite right here. So all sorts of ideas for what to do with your numbers now that you have this awesome stamp set as the 6th birthday gift. You've got all sorts of fun things you can do with them. You can doodle on them, put them at angles, sponge them. You can fussy cut the numbers out or use an electronic fussy cutter like I use. It'll just cut out the letters with no border or with a little bit of border, depending on what you want. And I hope I gave you all sorts of fun ideas on how to extend this kit. I don't think I even talked about the candles. These are the candles that go on the inside, and so I made use of those. Actually, 3 of them I made use of that. I noticed I made them all vertical. I had to make them all vertical because now if I want to dress up the inside with the fold-out cake, they have to be done vertically. So remember that when you're making these, if you do want to use the inserts, they need to be vertical. And I think that's about it. I had a really fun time. It was hard to stop. I could have just kept going and going and going. So, fun kit. Really enjoyed it. Next month is distinctive stamps, and that is where you get your shading lightest to darkest all in one stamp rather than having to do it multiple times. So I'm pretty excited to see that because I really love that kind of stamp. Thanks for watching.